I've been looking at how our ancient ancestors lived, and one of the things I've realised is that string was a pretty essential part of their lives. So I'm going to make some nettle string, and I'm going to take you step by step through my little experiment. I had a little practice run, but it's about the second time I've ever made it. The first step is to find your nettles, and I did have a momentary panic where I thought maybe the season had finished, but there were nettles aplenty down on the common. So I was looking for long, straight nettles. I discovered having lots of edge bits off of it didn't work terribly well. Long, straight ones with not too many nodules. They've got kind of little nodules along the stems. So I went along and picked myself a nice big handful of nettles. And the next stage is to strip them of the leaves and all the stingy bits, all the pointy bits along the stem. You'll notice until this point I'm wearing gloves, and you literally just strip them off. And the reason I did it on the common is that nettles are really important for insects and butterflies and things like that. So by stripping off all the seeds and leaves up on the common where I picked them, those are returning back to the soil and will grow again next year to encourage all the wildlife. So here I am with all my nettle stems, and I wanted plenty so that if anything went wrong during my process I'd be able to carry on, but I think I overestimated quite how easy this was going to be. So next stage at home was breaking the stems. So I got a sort of toy rolling pin that I thought would do the job, and actually it was easier just to squash the stems with the rolling pin than actually roll them. And you're trying to just break the stems so that you can pull them open, and particularly around those noduly bits again that are particularly stiff. So giving all of the stem a nice good squash. Anything hard will do the job. That makes it much easier to open up the stem, flatten it out, and inside there's the hard bit that keeps nettle stems standing upright, and that's the bit you want to get rid of. So having opened up the stem, then you want to start peeling the outer bit away from the hard inner bit. If you break it, if you fold it in half, it snaps that hard inner part, and you can start peeling it away. Once you've done that, you start to split up the fibres, the soft outer fibres, and the nodules are holding a lot of the bits together at this point. So if you break those and start stripping all the bits apart and then try and pull apart the different sections, sort of halving it each time. I was worried about these breaking, but actually they're incredibly strong, and it doesn't matter if they're all the same length. So if you are pulling it apart and one breaks shorter than another, that's absolutely fine. And you'll end up with lots of strands which you hang up to dry for a bit until you're ready to use them. Once your nettle fibres are dry, you're going to take a little bunch of them. I have about 6 to 8 strands here. If they're really brittle feeling, dampen them a little bit. And you're going to find the halfway point. So get a bundle, dangle them over your hand, get the halfway point, and you are going to hold that middle halfway point in your left hand and start making your string. So what you're going to do is take your top piece, your top bundle of strands, twist it clockwise and take it over the top of your untwisted piece. So that's now at the top. Twist that clockwise and take it over the top of your other piece. You're going to twist it clockwise and take it over the top. And all the time move your left hand along to keep it in place. So turn it clockwise, take it over the top. Twist it clockwise, take it over the top. Twist it clockwise and take it over the top. and that's just the process now that you're going to carry on until you get near the end of your strands. When you need to add in some more fibres, grab a little bundle, about the same, maybe a little less than the ones you've been using, and lie them so that the middle is in that centre point, and each length of the strands are lying alongside the strands you're already using to make your string. And then as you carry on, those fibres are going to just be meshed in with the ones you've been using, and you won't be able to see where they've joined in. And you just keep doing that. Every time you need to extend your fibres, you grab another little bundle of them, lie them so that the midpoint is at that place where my thumb is in the video. Well, I just moved it, but where the thumb is holding the strands, place the midpoint there and integrate them along with the other two lengths of fibre. And you just keep going like that. It's really good if you can get into a rhythm. That's when you start to find that it looks a little bit more even. And keep working your way until you run out of fibres. Now, the one thing that I found was really helpful, rather than having this great big pile of fibres on the table, I actually had to stop and split them up into little tiny bundles so that as I carried on, I could just take a bundle rather than wrestling the big pile, because there just aren't enough hands to be able to do that. And then you can carry on working your way through quite smoothly until you reach the end, by which point you'll have a nice length of cord, of string, and it's really remarkably strong. This ended up being the same width as the one I'd done before, my practice run. I'd like to try it again, make them a little bit more delicate and thinner, but I'm quite happy that I've managed to make something that looks like string and is strong and would definitely be useful to somebody in a prehistoric environment who needed to tie things up.